श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, entitled Brahma Stealing the Boys and the Cows. Oh yes, since shloka number 3 onwards till 5, we do not have purport. What we'll do is we'll just do the translation of the shloka and we'll recite shloka number 5. Shloka number 3. O king, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man being able to understand them, I shall speak about them to you. For spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. Text 4. Then, after saving the boys and cows from the mouth of Aghasur, who was death personified, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, brought them all to the bank of the river and spoke the following words. Text 5. Please repeat after me. Aho atiramyam pulinam vayasyaha swakeli sampat mrudalacha balukam sputat sarhagandha rita ali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasat dhrumakulam ahotiriyam pulinam vayasyaha ahotiriyam pulinam vayasyaha so vayasyaha, right? Swakeli sampan vidulacha balukam sputat sarogandha ritali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasadrumakulam ahotiriyam yam pulinam vayasyaha swakeli sampan vidulacha balukam sputat sarogandha ritali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasadrumakulam ahotiriyam pulinam vayasyaha swakeli sampan vidulacha balukam sputat sarogandha ritali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasadrumakulam ahotiriyam pulinam vayasya swakeli sampan mrudalacha balukam sputat sarogandha ritali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasadrumakulam. अहोतिरम्यं पुलिनं वयास्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदला च बालुकम् स्फुटत्सरो गन्धर्तालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम् सम्पन्मृदला च बालुकम् स्फुटत्सरो गन्धर्तालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम्. Mataji. अहो तिर्यं यं पुलिनं वयास्या स्वकेलिसम्पन्मृदला च बालुकम् स्फुटत्सरो गन्धर्तालिपत्रिका ध्वनि प्रतिध्वानलसद्रुमाकुलम्. अहो हो अतिरम्यम, very beautiful. Pulinam, the bank of the river. Vayasyaha, my dear friends. Swakeli sampat, full with all paraphernalia for pastimes of play. Mridulacha balukam, the very soft and clean sandy bank. Sputat, in full bloom. Saragandaha, by the aroma of the lotus flower. Rita, attracted. Ali, of the bumblebees. Patrika, and of the birds. Dhvani pratidhvana, the sounds of their chirping and moving, and the echoes of these sounds. Lasat, moving all over. Dhruma akulam, full of nice trees. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My dear friends, just see how this riverbank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. And just see how the blooming lotuses are attracting bees and birds by their aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees and birds is echoing throughout the beautiful trees in the forest. Also, here the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for our sporting and pastimes. Purport. The description of Vrindavan forest as given herewith are spoken by Krishna 5000 years ago. And the same condition prevailed during the time of the Vaishnava Acharyas 300 or 400 years ago. Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sarasa Gunar Kirane Mayurakule. Vrindavan forest is always filled with the chirping and cooing of birds like cuckoos, kokila, ducks, hamsa, and cranes, saras. And it is also full of peacocks, mayurakule. The same sound and atmosphere still prevail in the area where our Krishna Balram temple is situated. Everyone who visits this temple is pleased to hear the chirping of the birds as described here. Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sarasa. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanancha Shalakya Chakshurunteena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swamitane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamitane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashakateshtarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Sivasadi Kavar Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation. My dear friends, just see how this riverbank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. And just see how the blooming lotuses are attracting bees and birds by the aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees and birds is echoing throughout the beautiful trees in the forest. Also, here the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for our sporting and pastimes. So here, as we are just the beginning of the chapter, where in the previous chapter we know how Aghasur has been killed, and Aghasur has got a Sarupya Mukti by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna. So, where a question has been asked by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukdev Goswami, that when he comes to know that this incident of killing of Aghasur was withheld for at least 1 year. So he asks, how is this possible that all those Kumaras, all the Gopas were not able to relate, and it was as if the Aghasur killing had become so much as if it is afresh, that it becomes in present tense. So when he puts this inquiry, Sukdev Goswami is able to understand that the depth to which Parikshit Maharaj has got into this Leela itself. It's quite common that sometimes a lecture class is given, and as we get absorbed in the class, various questions springs in our mind. So it shows the sign of one's rapt attention into this particular lecture. So hearing this, even as Sukdev Goswami was appreciating that how just this Aghasur who had come to kill Krishna, and just by his Leela, by Krishna's grace, he got Sarupya Mukti. Then he tries to explain, then what can be talked about those people who brings Krishna in their life? People who are surrendered to Krishna, what wealth, what piety these people must be having. And yes, is meditating. Then Sud Goswami talks about how these questions were asked. And then immediately Parikshit Maharaj is again asking, please explain this phenomenon. And to that, glorifying Parikshit Maharaj, he talks about the quality of a Paramahansa that we just yesterday read about Paramahansa. How Paramahansas, they never fall down. They are ever absorbed in the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. There is not a single time when they don't remember Lord Sri Krishna. It's ever there. Every time, pratikshana, every moment, they're fully immersed in thinking of Lord Sri Krishna, in trying to serve Lord Sri Krishna. This is what a Paramahamsa's job is. So yesterday as we were discussing, I just thought of coining a definition. As I said, this Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but a samhita for Paramahamsas. Paramahamsa Samhita, wherein usually in modern democracy, there's a definition of how democracy is defined. Abraham Lincoln, he actually defined what is democracy for the people to understand. He said, by the people, for the people, and of the people. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is by the Paramahamsas, for the Paramahamsas, and of the Paramahamsas. So here, we see the consciousness of the person who is actually dwelling into the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. They are not these ordinary people. And for a conditioned soul like us, wherein trying to become a Krishna consciousness is a lot of pain for us. We just take what is, as a conditioned soul, we take which is very nice to our ears, maybe the music of the kirtan in initial stages. But when we ask to chant 16 rounds, it becomes a little bit a stress for us, because 2 hours of chanting, and just trying to focus on the mantra. In the beginning stages, it is quite painful. So, the process of Srimad Bhagavatam at this moment we're trying to read, it's difficult to understand the subject matter. But as we read, because it is Samhita, it is for the conditioned soul, it's the means and the goal is the same. It is to make a conditional a Paramahansa. Yesterday we talked about when one of the Srila Prabhupada disciples told Srila Prabhupada that you are the 13th Mahajan. Srila Prabhupada replied to him that you are the 14th Mahajan. So the Mahajan, the line of Mahajan doesn't just stop till 12 in the books. It is spread. Invitation is made to throughout the universe. That anyone who follows this process will also follow the same thing. He'll also become a Paramahamsa eventually. It may look a Herculean task for us when you look for ourselves, when you look at our state of trying to chant, trying to read on long hours, trying to hear Srimad Bhagavatam on long hours. We are a conditioned soul, and only by association of devotees and by following the instructions we can tread this path. So here in the subsequently as well, Sukdev Goswami, after having described, this is in third shloka, the translation goes, O king, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man being able to understand them, I shall speak about them to you. For spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. So it's already declared here that the pastimes or the activities of Krishna are confidential. It is not for a mundane person to easily understand them. The key to understand this Krishna's pastimes or his activities or how the entire thing works is not the subject matter of any intellect. We have seen that many intellects who claims to be intellects, but because they have something attachment to their intellectual power, they are not able to submit. The key here is only submission. Just like in Mahabharata, in the war, I can't remember, it just came to my mind that there was Narayan Astra was being thrown at the Pandavas. But you can't fight a Narayan Astra. The only thing you can do is bow down. Bhim was unwilling to bow down. Arjun was immediately bow down. But Bhim was little bit, he had his raw strength. He wanted to show that I can control. But Krishna pulls him down to bow down. And when a person bows down to Narayan Astra, the Narayan Astra retracts back. So this is the confidential, the spiritual topics or transcendental topics is not for a mundane person to catch by his intelligence. No matter what PhDs, what qualification we may have, it's only out of submission. Now what is submission? Material world is meant only for enjoyment. All the way from the spiritual we came here to enjoy. Because we had envy, we came down to the spiritual world. And this enjoyment mentality is still there within us. All the time we look, where is enjoyment for me? Little bit of boredom we have, we leave the process. Just like chanting Hare Krishna in the beginning stage, first round is very nice. First 3 beads of Hare Krishna Mahantra is very nice. But then, because we have this enjoying tendency, we want to enjoy the mantra, then our mind goes somewhere else to seek shelter, where I can enjoy. Then we plan how our whole day would be, how will I take the whole day forward. So this is enjoying mentality is always there. The idea is submission means surrendering our enjoying mentality. Then only the spiritual world is manifested in our heart. Because it is out of service. Without service, we cannot make any progress. Even in the beginning days, we have been told that chanting Hare Krishna is the only thing. But as soon as a service is given, then we start shivering, we start shaking. Because that enjoying tendency is still there in our mind. And some service is given, we start shivering. Then sometimes out of some mistake is made in that service, then we get chastisement. And if we get that chastisement, it looks Krishna conscious is very, very hard, very tough, it's difficult. I did my best to do it, but my mentor or my superior who gave me that service is very hard on me. And we try to, it shakes our faith. It shakes our faith in the person whom we have surrendered because he chastises. A good example we get to learn from our acharyas is in Jiva Goswami, wherein there was one Digvijay Pandit who was roaming everywhere to prove that he is the master of philosopher. There is no one. He is the indefeatable. He can't be defeated. So he goes to every known person who is famous, known and famous, and he ends up in Vrindavan, wherein he knows that actually Rupa Goswami is the first class, the best known person. He is the best person whom you can defeat, and if you defeat him, then your glories will have no end. So he goes to Rupa Goswami and he says, Baba, I have taken signature whom I have defeated. Rupa Goswami says, Baba, show me, I'll sign it here. He signs it without any going into any argument or any debate. Just like that. So this person, Digvijay, thinks, Baba, I am really good. Somehow he just goes on collecting and he reaches Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami becomes perturbed. Baba, Rupa Goswami is my guru and you have taken his signature. You are what level you have? So he defeats this Digvijay Pandit just like this. And somehow the news goes to Rupa Goswami saying this Jiva Goswami has defeated this particular Digvijay. In mundane calculation, one would be very happy with that. But Rupa Goswami was not at all happy. He chastises Jiva Goswami saying that you have wasted your time. This particular place of Vrindavan is meant only for bhajan, not to prove your greatness. And he chastises him so heavily that he says, don't show me your face. And Jiva Goswami doesn't utter a single word. Because that is the level of surrender one disciple has towards his guru. He doesn't give any explanation trying to say that actually I am trying to reinstate your own glory. That if he carries this paper everywhere and shows that he has defeated Rupa Goswami, then everything is finished. He doesn't give any explanation, just accepts this as a instruction of my guru and he goes away from the place. This is an example of how a disciple should be there. So to that, when Sanatana Goswami comes to know that I am not able to see Jiva Goswami, where is he? Actually, they have a family relation as well. Jiva Goswami is actually a nephew of Rupa and Sanatana. So that when Sanatana is asking, and he knows that actually Jiva Goswami is been moved away from this place, and then Sanatana Goswami actually tells Rupa Goswami that actually the main principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is Jiv Daya. And it has a double meaning. Jiv is soul and Jiv is the name of his nephew as well. So then he remembers, okay, he brings Jiva Goswami back. So that is actually the intensity of love. At the same time that a guru showers onto his disciple. It's not just chastisement. So right in front of Nectar of Instruction, which is again written by Rupa Goswami, it talks about how one should control one's senses. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jiva vegam, udarapeshta vegam. Etan vega vishayata dhira, apiman prithvim sa shishyat. A person, sober person who is able to control the urges of the tongue, mind, body, speech and the genitals. So this particular mind does a lot of tricks with us. The mind tells us, Baba, you are the best person. There is no one as intelligent as you. What you have done is right. The next person is unnecessarily chastising you. So unless and until one suppresses this enjoying mentality, the progress in devotional service is difficult. This is because that's the beginning of instruction, of the nectar of instruction. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam. Then If the mind is not controlled actually, then anger springs up automatically. Baba, how dare you chastise me? That too in public. This is actually happens, this is how our mind works. So the enjoying mentally is so deep rooted in our heart that we are ready to give any explanation to defend of what we did. A person who has surrendered knows that my aim is to get Krishna's service, and whatever chastisement is nothing but atoms on my journey of finding Krishna. If this attitude is there in our heart, then chastisement, any number of seva will become just like mere figments, nothing. But if we focus on chastisement, Krishna is forgotten. So we have to remind again and again that this place is not meant for enjoyment, it is for service by Krishna's will, because He is the controller. He has put me under His direction, that I work under Him and I follow the process. It's not that I am some great person and actually I know things better than Krishna. If we are surrendered to Krishna, Krishna takes care. Avashya rakshitita vishvaso. That Krishna is definitely going to protect me in whatever condition. My only thing is surrender. So here also we get to know is our full line is full of chastisement, nothing new or nothing big for us to get chastisement and lose our interest. Incident of Srila Prabhupada and his Guru Maharaj Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, wherein once Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was given a class, and it is there in Lilamrit mentioned that Prabhupada was there among the class, and behind there was another senior one of the person who was doing a lot of service, donational service to the Matha, Gaudiya Math. And as he was giving class, he sees that the two, Abhay Charanar, Srila Prabhupada, that time he was Abhay Charanarvinda, and some senior gentlemen. They were talking for some time. And he spots them and he becomes heavy. Bhaktisiddhanta becomes so heavy that he says that if you know better than me, you come here and I sit there. And Srila Prabhupada had no face to say. And actually it was not Srila Prabhupada's fault. Actually, someone at the back had asked him some inquiry about the class itself. But Srila Prabhupada never ever tried to give explanation of why he was disturbing the class. That's the attitude of a disciple is, he gets the chastisement, and chastisement for him is mercy. And the person who was disturbing Srila Prabhupada was actually someone donor, and he chastises him heavily. Don't think that paying 150 rupees as a rent that you have purchased me. Such a heavy words. But those, they were surrendered souls, they stuck to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's lotus feet. They were there. But for us, conditioned soul, a slight insult, we can't bear. We run away from the place, we are hiding from him, we don't show our faces, and it is difficult, it takes time to heal our wounds in such scenarios. But for a surrendered soul, chastisement is mercy. What to talk about Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur and his own guru, Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur at that time, the most sought out disciple, anyone who is looking out for, if I had to have a disciple like him, my glory will increase. He is known for his intelligence, known for his mathematical abilities. He has already published Siddhant Saraswati, treatise on Surya Siddhant. Such a big figure in the place. And he approaches Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj. He is rejected, saying, let me take instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you come. And this is not once, twice, thrice. So he can understand that this particular person is not ordinary person. The person who is looking at my education, looking at my skills is nothing but just like a mundane things. He has no any, Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj has no any value for such things. Then in his heart he understands what this person must be. Then looking at his insistence, then Gaur Kishodas Babaji finally initiates Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So it's the dridata, the determination of understanding, the intelligence to apply that this person is so big. Whatever I've been holding, our most prized possession is our wealth, our Shakti in our body, and some educational degrees, maybe looks or some family lineage what we have, and it makes us so proud that we can't bear any chastisement. So, the chastisement of his guru was so dear that when Gaur Kishodas Bambaji Maharaj disappeared, Bhakti Siddhanta were lamenting, who will chastise me now? And for us, who will praise us now? This is our, we are looking only because our enjoying mentality is looking for who is praising me. This is our outlook. So, this thing we should reverse, that looking out for chastisement for our correction and looking in search for Krishna, where I'll be put in service of Krishna. This should be in our motto, it shall be our goal of our life. Then progress is smoothly. Otherwise, there will be a lot of difficulties. Not even that. In Bhagavad Gita, we talk about Krishna and Arjuna, where Krishna begins, before even Arjuna submits himself, he starts chastising him. Kutastam kashvalam idam vishame sama apostitam. How have you got this impurity at this particular time? It will not lead you to the heavenly planets. It will only bring you infamy. Klebe masma gamaha partha. Don't yield to this degrading importance. It is just your weakness of your heart. Though Arjuna gave big explanation of why he should not fight, it looks very appealing to us also. Wow, what a respect for his guru. Everything is nice. But Krishna just smashes all his argument by just two things. Then seeing that Krishna's position is higher, Arjuna surrenders. That it's better I surrender to him and he can instruct me. Karpanna dosho pahat svava prichami tvam dharma samudya chetaha. Yes rehan jitan bruitan me shistasteham sadi mam tvam prapanna. You instruct me now. I am surrendering unto you. Because out of my miserly weakness, I am not able to decide what is the duty of the dharma at this moment. Because he saw Krishna on a higher platform. Yes, you are able to chastise me, you are able to correct me. That means you are the only place I can take shelter of. I am at this moment so depressed, I am not able to find what is the way. What I am doing, this is right or wrong. To fight is good, or to run away from this battle and take sannyas is good. Completely disturbed. He didn't know anything to do, but surrendered to Krishna, that he can only guide me. So, in our dealings, we just see chastisement. We don't see the love. That's the problem. We should be able to see the love of the person whom we are surrendered to. How much time he is spending on me. How much he takes care of me. Because these things are not known to us, they are not seen to us. We think the person is only chastising me. Now we should sit down and we should be able to see that this chastisement is only a small thing. But how much he has invested to put up this thing together, to instruct me together. And when you see his love more than the chastisement, the progress becomes smoother. The surrender becomes smoother. Otherwise, it's difficult. Just like a mother and child. The mother sometimes is very heavy on the child. Child does some mischief and she takes a stick, shows so much anger. But the child at that moment thinks that, Baba, this is not my mother. This is the worst enemy I ever seen in my life. And I remembered myself. That when I was beaten, because at the age of 5, out of wrong association of the society, I was picking up bad words. I was told 1-2 times, Baba, this is not our culture. Bad words is not our culture. 2-3 times. But I was using these bad words to my sister. I didn't know the meaning. Just bad words, because it's slang. It's smooth on the tongue. On the 4th time, the whip which is used for whipping the bulls was used for me. At the age around 5 to 6 years I was old. Weep like anything. And this is my father? He can't be my father. But that weeping has helped me so much throughout this college days that slang is difficult to come on my mouth. Otherwise, a common language in college. But that time he was my enemy. But now I thank him that he has protected me from all these things. So it's love. The same mother. After beating, she only gives food. Even me say, no, I don't want food. I am angry on you. But the mother, out of love, brings the food. So this, one should focus on the love and not the chastisement. Understand chastisement, I've done something wrong and I have to see that I overcome this. So here again, same topic is talked about. These subject matters are difficult to understand. This, our intellectual MA, PhD degree is not going to help us. No matter we may by heart the entire book, by heart all the shlokas, we may be very good at it. But unless the surrender is there, this is not going to work for us. It's just like you have all the machine, but you're not connected to the electricity, the machine is going to be useless. You may have an AC or you may have some good machine. But if there is no petrol, the vehicle is useless. Yeah, the right connection has to be there. The right connection is of surrender, not of enjoyment. Initially days, yes, our enjoyment was pampered. Baba, take this prasad, take this more halwa. You're dancing very nicely. Everything was pampered. But after suddenly, when we start developing relationship, the person also says, okay, now I have captured him. Let me check his surrender. Let me check his attachment. Many devotees, actually, when they see that the attention is given up by the mentor, they start disappearing. So, one should be knowing that this is the place I have come to learn and is the only place I can have some valuable thing and I can progress in my life. Otherwise, we can give all mundane logic, all explanation and yet not surrender, thinking that I know much better than you. What is your qualification? I know better. What is your background? I know better. So these things will only put us in a ditch of devotional ditch wherein there is no progress ahead. So even we have a famous story in South India itself where we are just trying to revise things, how surrender is helping. Where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spots one Brahmana who has Bhagavad Gita crying and the entire population is making fun of him. But this poor fellow, illiterate fellow is trying to read Bhagavad Gita and crying. For them it is all sentiment. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could spot on that he has got real sentiment. The real, genuine sentiment is of two, mundane and transcendental sentiment. Mundane sentiment comes out of your bodily needs. That what my body needs, the chemicals are released by our brain. That yes, I want this. Transcendental pastime is, transcendental emotions is how do I serve Krishna and his devotees. That anxiety to put up service for the devotees of Krishna. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquires, wow, what is happening? You seem to be illiterate and you are crying, you are full. Bhagavad Gita is full of tears. What is happening? Then he explains that actually my Guru asked me to read Bhagavad Gita and I am illiterate. And how I can deny his order? It's quite common, yeah, how a person can instruct. A Guru should tell him, check his skills and give him that much seva to him. But in this case, he was illiterate. It may be difficult for him to even pick up Sanskrit lessons. But no, my Guru told me, this has to be done by heart. By heart, he is reading. And reading what? Just looking at the picture of Krishna and Arjuna. That Arjuna is giving instructions to Krishna and Krishna is following them. Just by mere pictures, he could understand how Krishna, though the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though Master of the universes, though entire creation comes from him, but for his devotee, he is surrendered. He is ready to become a driver for him. Even if you call someone a driver, even if his profession is driver and you say driver, it hurts him. Yeah, in mundane parlance, When you say he's a driver, they get hurt. But for Lord Sri Krishna, to do this service of being a driver is very satisfying, very pleasing. So he could understand what Krishna does for his devotee by just following the instruction of his guru that try to read Bhagavad Gita. And he's trying to follow this. So yes, there's a power of what the instruction is given by guru. And not even that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, when it came to showing humility, when he's showing surrender to his guru, he declared that my guru told me I am a rascal. This Vedanta Sutra is not meant for you. For you, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What we can talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who could 100 verses of Kashmiri Pandit, just like that, 100 or 1000, 100 verses, just by hearing once. Shrutadhar, he knows. He can find out mistakes in those. And for him, when he surrenders to Ishwar Puri, just like keep aside all his learning aside, but you are my only savior. You can only direct me. This is the mood. This is our humility should be brought, that all my learnings of mundane world is useless. Only the lotus feet of the Guru can help me to cross over the ocean. The cross over ocean of miseries. Why we want to take shelter is because we feel miseries in our life. There is no other reason. For a conditioned soul, we want to seek something nice because we feel things miserable. We want to have AC because we feel hot. We want to have electricity because we want to have light so that there is darkness. To cover the darkness, to take care of darkness, because we want to come out of miseries. And surrendering to lotus feet of Krishna or his disciple, of his devotees, the only reason is to come out from the miseries. But, as again, trying to repeat again, sorry, that when we come here, we find, Baba, I thought this is a very blissful process, and what I am getting to face here is something chastisement. Sorry, actually I am speaking my own heart, because this is running in my mind, that sometimes I am praised and sometimes I have been dashed. Just like a racket or a small fly is there, has been thrown, tuck. So this happens, and when I get dashed, then all things springs up in my heart. Now, is this the right place for me in Salem? That to be here among devotees, serving here? This is an ordinary service. I can be without it. So these things are there. So I'm just speaking my mind, how always, every day I'm struggling with this. So why is this happening? Though we are in a process, one should question why. I've tried to come to seek association, but service, chastisement is heavy for me. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu show by his own example of a surrender? Because our body is made of Maya, which is Yantrurani Mayaya, Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantrurani Mayaya. This body, which is made, is given to by us by Maya, is get attracted only to Maya objects. Only things which are made to, it's a default setting. There is nothing to change. Default, default is there. When it came, it is meant for enjoyment only. But inside there is Ishvara Hridaya Tishtati. Lord Krishna is saying, he is guiding us to show what is right and what is wrong. But because we are so used to sense gratification that even his instructions, which we are able to see in his heart, able to hear a slight hint of that voice, we override it. Because sense gratification is so intense, so tasty, that we try to override. But through intelligence, by seeking association of devotees, by over and over spiritualizing our consciousness, by our mind, we are trying to put brakes. We are able to magnify the voice of a Paramatma in our heart to know what is right and what is wrong. But whereas for a mundane person, the body pushes them towards hell. This is the prime objective of Maya. Because all of us are a problem. All of us are bringing obstacles in the pleasure of Krishna, a conditioned soul. Only when we are corrected, we can be of his service. Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, gives a complete process that Raj Vidya Raj Guyam. This is the most confidential part. What is the most confidential part of this entire? This is not stated here in Bhagavad Gita as such that this is most confidential. Entire, it is said as Raj Vidya Raj Guyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Raj Vidya Raj Guyam. This is the most confidential. The process is self-realization. You get to realize the self. And what is required in the disclaimer? One is, one should not have enviousness. Anusaya. Because you Arjuna, you are not envious. And second is faith in the process. These two things will help us to pick up this Raj Vidya Raj Guyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam. This we are able to realize ourselves. We came here only for self-realization, not for eating gulab jamuns or having a good time, but to know who we are. We have different varieties of identities based on what path we went through of our life. We call ourselves engineers, some doctors, some husband, some wife, some child of some great person because we want to associate with some big things, or some employee of some big company, or employer of some big employees, because we have these false IDs. So what is that? When Krishna gives example, he says that he gives an example. He says that actually this entire creation, actually this is nothing but my Avyakti Murtina. This is my I expand, I pervade throughout this in my unmanifested form. But I'm not here. I'm there in the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada gives an example that how to understand this. At the government office, which is there, a king is there. Through the king's instruction, the government office is working very nicely through his energy. The king is not personally there in the administration part or in the governance, but his instructions, his energy, his organized structure is so that the things are going automatically. But he as personally, he's there in palace trying to do something most important thing. And for a king, it is trying to enjoy a kind of a life, but provided people are following the instructions. So similarly, Krishna, though he is pervading entire creation, he is not there. But foolish persons who want to enjoy, they look, oh, this is nice for our enjoyment. They don't question about who made these nice things. For them, oh, it came on its own. This is the enjoying, because of the enjoying mentality, the materialistic concept. Oh, this came on its own. Big Bang was there. There's no creator for this. It just happened by chance, and at some time it will be dissolved. But that is not intelligence. Intelligence is to think, all the things which I create, which are there for my enjoyment, I bring them, but I bring it from particular source, I create them, but for this wonderful thing, there's no creator. And these people pass as big PhD degree holders and big scientists. Mere small children, they know about this, that there's a creator. It's spontaneous. Even tribals who have no culture, no education, they're just born in a forest, but for them, oh, sun is such a wonderful thing. It's giving us energy. It is making us to have trees. There's understanding is there, and just surrender to the sun. Because for them, only sun is big thing. And over a period of time, they start about trees. They are giving us fruit. They know it is not out of spontaneity that things have come for our enjoyment, but only the scientist or materialist, for they think creation is only just sprung up from nowhere. So still further, Krishna says that actually, avajananati mama muda. So when Krishna comes as a guda kapata manusha, that's just like a human form. They think, he is a human. How? Because their enviousness is so deep rooted, they can't understand that Krishna is supreme nature of Krishna. So what happens to them? Moga asha, moga karmana, moga jnana vichetasa. Raksasam asuram chaiva, prakriti mohitam sriti. They take shelter, not shelter, they want to master over the material energy. And when it happens is they become demonic. And all their efforts of knowledge, success, whatever do is doomed, finished. But at the same time, there is Mahatmanastu Mama Partha Devim Prakritam Ashritra. They take shelter of the divine energy, knowing what? Nyatva Bhutadim, that knowing that Krishna is the supreme and I have to take shelter. So, the most confidential part here is see that we are not envious, we have faith in the process and we shelter. We seek shelter of Lord's service energy, that is Devi Prakriti, and not try to go against his nature. So that's another story of, okay. How much time we have? Or I think. Okay, then further to that, Krishna basically is trying to show the place where he's calling all his good friends, come on, enjoy, let's come here. This is the place for us to sport our pastimes. He talks about the soft sand, the golden sand near the banks of the river. And how these beautiful flowers are there, how the bees are enjoying the scent, and how they chirp. The bees, they make bumbling sound. This is a very fantastic atmosphere for us to do our pastimes. But for us, when you are put into this condition, being a conditioned soul, no matter on, it depends on which grip of Maya we are in. A more of goodness person will say, oh, this is a nice place for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, let's do some kirtan, let's do some japa. The person who is into passion will think, Baba, this is a nice forest. I can cut these trees, I can take out these flowers and put them into market and make money. This is how a mode of person in passion will think. But for a devotees or person who is a Shuddha Sattva, this place is a wonderful place to meditate on the Lord. And this is the place where there's interaction, where Krishna is also there. So we see that all big people in our Srimad Bhagavatam, Ajamil, who having understood the value of life, when he was saved by Narayan Dutas, he just gave up his family life and went to one of the forests. I can't remember which was that. It was Madhuvan, I guess, where he started practicing, meditating on the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj, one of the forest, and trying to meditate on the Lord. We have famous, even from Bilvamangal Thakur from South India, went all the way up Vrindavan to continue his devotional service. The entire North India belt is known from, like Uttarakhand is known for Deva Bhumi. And that is place where one purifies. I said we were talking about Bhakti Sandhya Thakur chanting 1 billion names. Where he took shelter? Mayapur. Because that place has so much potency that it purifies. Though Bhakti Sandhya Thakur did not have any place, because wherever he is, that is Vrindavan. Wherever he is, Mayapur. It is for us conditioned soul to tell us that this is the best place. Go there, do your devotional service. It will, the tree of devotional service, the lata, the creeper will luxuriantly grow. It will be just like sputat, it will bloom there. So that's the place where we can have our devotional service, where it will be spring up. So one more, just to show the interaction, there's a story of Shamanand Pandit. All know about Shamanand Pandit. Shamanand Pandit, on his earlier life, he was called Dukhi. Well, I don't know, maybe it's a common word, it was called Dukhi. Then he gets initiated by Hridaya Chaitanya when he gets the name of Dukhi, just because it's a Krishna Das. And after Krishna Das, because usually just because refer as Dukhi Krishna Das, no matter, I don't know how Dukhi is connected though. Then he comes to Vrindavan. His service was to sweep the Vrindavan, one particular stali, place where pastimes of Lord Krishna and Radharani was there. His service was just sweeping. They are saying that once His service was also to bring water and clean the place and sweep. So much so was absorbed in his service that he would bring a water pot every day and use that water. And he was not on a bodily platform. So much so that the pot was heavy, there was some scar on his head. The scar became so bad that there was some germs and some insects, some moths were there. He was callous to his bodily needs, but only thing is service to that particular place. And that serving that particular place, what he gets wanted to say is the nupur, the anklet, and he was, wow, wonderful anklet, single anklet, and he was so brilliant, so it was just like he thought it just like a sun has fallen onto this particular place, so much effulgent. So that then he keeps it. He knows that he should be giving this particular thing to the owner of the. He has been told that whatever you find, you just give it to the owner. And suddenly some two sakis come up. There he says, "Have you seen my anklet?" He says, "No, I have got it. But who is the owner?" They said, "What? You want to see the owner? Not possible. She is the princess. She is the daughter-in-law. We can't show her. She can't come in public." But he was insistent. No, I have to give it to the owner because Jiva Goswami's instruction. Simple instruction. Whatever you find, give it to the owner. Yeah, so he held on to that instruction, give it to the owner. What happens? Then because he is not letting out this particular anklet, and the two Sakis, now they want this Radharani's anklet. So they present to him. They take him and make him enter into the pastime of Radharani. And when they only says, okay, now you tie it. And when it touches, then he gets the ecstasy of able to feel the softness of Radharani's lotus feet. So this is what one can achieve by just simple instruction of following what one guru has given. Though may it look very hard, very tough, but the faith can only make that instruction easy. So with this, I conclude my small realization. If anyone has any question, any comments to add, any corrections, if I've overstepped my adhikar or something, or my own understanding. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय.